Talk about an absolutely absurd, insulting performance on a news network. I've got to nominate Anderson Cooper and what he did in allegiance and alliance with Paul Begala on his show on CNN. Anderson talking about the 14th Amendment. He's talking with one of the smartest men on in immigration law in the country. He's talking with Senator Russell Pearce of Arizona. He's the author of nearly every piece of legislation that's been advanced into law, whether through public initiative or whether through the legislature and the signature of the governor, whether in either form. I mean, Russell Pearce is, first of all, he's a nice guy. He is an intelligent man, one of the brightest, I think, in the country. And I want you to hear two outmatched wits who try to use, artifice and device rather than intelligence to try to keep up with, and obviously they try to simply stymie Russell Pearce. And I got to tell you, I think he handled himself with dignity, and I think he taught them a lesson or two during this exchange.
I got to tell you, this is interesting, the great spin he puts on it. The 14th Amendment was written in 1866, ratified in 1868, belonged to one group of people only, African Americans, to give them their rightful place at the table that they would be denied after that war. Had nothing to do with foreigners at all, legal or illegal.
Well, actually, I just got to jump in, because actually that's not true. We've been doing some research.
What is not true?
Well, the congressional research.
Hang on, let me
just say the congressional research service.
Let me finish.
Okay. Well, in 2005, the Congressional Research Service did a report, and they point out that the original debate over the 14th Amendment, while overwhelmingly about African Americans, it was also among both proponents and opponents about Chinese immigrants here and whether the children of foreign workers, of Chinese workers, should actually get citizenship.
That's okay.
No, actually, no, Anderson, you're wrong. And Senator Pearce is correct. And in point of fact, in 1898, that Supreme Court decision, which did involve a man of Chinese heritage, had everything to do with the fact that the Supreme Court refused to deal with the issue of original intent, as they would do in nearly every case. It is considered by most constitutional scholars with whom I've talked over the years to be an absolute travesty of tortured legal artifices and attempted reasoning to come to a desired result. So Anderson, I'm just trying to help you out here as you were helping Senator Russell Pearce. You're wrong, dude. Let's continue this.
Should actually
get
citizenship.
That's okay. Let's go back to the case. That's not true. First of all, it was clear. And on the debate of the floor, Jacob Howard and Senator Cohen, both those senators made it clear it did not apply to aliens or foreigners in any manner. That was the debate on the floor. And then let's take the 1884 Elks v. Wilkins case with the United States Supreme Court that said it absolutely does not apply to them. In fact, it didn't even apply to American Indians. They said because they belong to a tribe, have alienage, allegiance to a tribe, and belong to a tribe and were born on a sovereign nation, it didn't apply to them. There's no doubt where they were born. Congress had to pass 3 acts. One in the 1800s, the other one in 1901, the other one in 1924, giving citizenship to the Indians. There's no doubt where they were born. That's the most abused phrase in there. It says, born, and for whom we had jurisdiction. We don't have jurisdiction to foreigners. We don't have jurisdiction over those who break into our country. It needs to be fixed. It's the greatest inducement. It is a crime to enter this country illegally. It is a crime to remain in this country, yet you provide probably the greatest inducement available, an unconstitutional declaration of citizenship to those born to non-citizens.
But there was a vigorous debate about whether or not Chinese immigrants, the children of Chinese immigrants who were working, and people who were opposed to the 14th Amendment back then were worried that, the children of Chinese immigrants would overrun the state of California because there were so many of them coming to work and that their kids would automatically get citizenship.
Right. But that actually came much later. You have the Will Congress.
Yeah, it came exactly. It came 30 years later. In fact, the case that they're referring to, You listen to a man who absolutely knows his stuff. The senators he was referring to are the authors of the 14th Amendment, and they left a very clear memorialization of their intent in the 14th Amendment as they drafted it. But what we were listening to, I mean, at one point, Paul Begala, who you didn't listen to there, but I mean, he's saying things like, it doesn't matter where people are born. It's just that's no part of the intent of any illegal immigrant, which is an utter misconstruction. He's saying that it's only a little civil misdemeanor to cross our borders, which, so it doesn't amount to anything in his view, but it amounts to a great deal in the views of millions of Americans who believe that border is deserving of considerable attention, that it should be secured in the national interest for the protection of American citizens. But that is the kind of treatment a man like Senator Russell Pearce received on Anderson Cooper's show this week. I think, and he was it was just a silly performance on the part of Begala and Anderson Cooper. And they owe the man an apology. They owe their viewers an apology for insulting their intelligence in that way.